Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so let's start this way. So my first question to you is, being in India, how did you think about getting into rock music? How did you get exposed to rock music? Um what are your beginnings? How did you start playing the guitar and stuff like that?
Interesting story. I got into guitar and rock music after coming back from Nigeria because I was born in like in 1975. 1978, my dad moved to Nigeria. So I was brought up in Nigeria, and that was a whole different situation scenario there. And came back in 1989 as one. Uh, you know, is a mindfuck teenager, and got it, and got introduced to rock, and that because right from Nigeria, like because when it was in Nigeria, it was all about breakdance music and lifestyle, right? It was like I like they were the best, I mean, and they just enjoyed their music and things like that. So came back to India, and everybody was like a little uptight, and things had changed, right? And yeah, that's basically that's and that time of you're a teenager, nothing is going according to plan, and my brother was here. I mean, he had a massive collection of rock music, and my uncle had a band in the '60s in Pondicherry. So and Pondicherry radio station used to start off with their music in the '60s. So he was a guitarist then. So I grew up listening to Beatles, and yeah, that's where the Beatles reference comes in, and all kinds of America. As in, but in those times, I mean, like you're a kid. It's like a background score kind of thing, right? So yeah, and that's where uh, always my dad was into Carnatic music and Western classical, and yeah, all influences around just came around, listening to music. But when I got into rock, it was again coming back to India, Calicut, and I spoke about this to you, right, when we Pythagoras in the right angles, and that was the and dreadlocks. There was a massive rock scene in Calicut at that time, and I was new to this. This just sounds very different from the music I was into that breakdance thing, and yeah, and the teenage stuff. This just came right, uh, kind of a perfect mix of and this that and band like the Dreadlocks, the band that opened for Pythagoras and the Right Angles. I am pretty sure Saroj remembers the band. I can't hear you, unfortunately.
I also remember
I
you
also
very well.
remember you very well.
Okay, okay. Now
I
it's
mean, I
fine.
remember the
And
whole
I
situation
remember
where
the
Dreadlocks
situation
was
where
there and stuff
Dreadlocks
like
was
that.
there and stuff like that.
Okay, now we can hear each other.
No, I'm not. I'm still feedbacking, so you have to mute yourself. So when I'm asking a question, you'll have to mute yourself. That's a big problem. So let's live life like that and continue. So yeah, so you were saying,
Okay. So now I'm confused if am I muted or not. Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah. So that's where nothing happened, and then my uncle used to be a guitarist, and there was a guitar line around the house already. But the thing that drew me to the guitar was that my brother played one day on a tape recorder was, and it's actually started off like one second. It yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. Think of me and hooked to the guitar. ocean. I like, and, and then my brother told me, like, I asked my brother, like, what the hell is that? That's a guitar. He's like, guitar? Really? That, like, box of wood strings that was like there? Then, yeah. Like, how does that work? And that kind of drew me into, like, okay, now that's it. I have to figure out how this shit works, right? Yeah, so that's my introduction to rock, as you can say, and like Gilmore. Yeah, Gilmore is one of my gods, and yeah,
Beatles. Are you unable to hear me now? You're able to hear me? Okay, so I asked you the question that you just played the guitar, you played some Gilmore, and you said that you were completely mesmerized by that sound and stuff. But when it came to Beatles, you have a tribute band where you switched to bass. Why did you switch to bass for Beatles? Unmute, unmute.
interesting because the owner of Livdemy, Satyajit Sahu, yeah, we met by chance, and then he said like we are forming a band, a tribute band to the Beatles, and we're looking for a bass guitarist. Yeah, and for me, uh, bass guitar and the bass lines that he has created for a song like any song that you can think of when it comes to the Beatles, Paul McCartney's bass lines are just next level, and it's like and our favorite song to play in the tribute band that we something right the song something from it's George Harrison song, but the bass lines that Paul McCartney came up on that song is yeah, exactly. It's just you just need to do sign language. Like,
Do you? It's very interesting.
it's very interesting.
You'll have to mute. Yeah. So when George Harrison wrote something and took it to Paul McCartney, it was a completely different melody and tune. Do you know this? Do you know that it was in a jing jing jack jing 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 jack something in the rain she moves sack, jing jing jack. You know it was like that, and Paul McCartney then took it and then converted it to do something else. Just amazing, right? And those bass lines, just amazing. Yeah. So I'll move on to my next question to you. Um how did you pick up these songs? D- you're talking about very early in the days when there was no YouTube and all. So how could you learn these songs, these Pink Floyd songs, and these, and especially this the song that you just played? It blew your mind, right? During those times, if you have an acoustic or even if you have an electric guitar at home, you don't know how to get out those delay sounds and stuff like that, those dotted eighth delays. And how did you come to know that this is what you have to do? Did anybody teach you all these things?
Like I said, when I at 89 when I heard the song, 90, and what I used to do was when I got the guitar, like when I heard the song, I was like, what? Okay, I need to. My uncle had been playing this kind of like, okay, bring that guitar, okay, and figure out like it goes something like. I used to emulate this whole thing, and they're trying to get that, fade out. So that's when I like, and then like my guitar and the Dreadlocks guitarist is a guy who's like Bennett Roland Jaffet. He's one of my like mentors, and he's like, dude, why you? It's don't try and do all that. It's a pedal. You have to get a pedal, and then it's called a delay pedal. You have to set it. Like, dude, why did you tell me this earlier? I mean, I spent half my life trying to get that. So yeah, so that was seen as far as emulating the. But again, Beatles songs were very play like you could make out that there was no effects or anything of that sort. And you asked about the bass lines, right? So it's like bass lines are very distinct. It's like whether it be it or something like well, she was just 17. Yeah, it's like and it's yeah. I don't know how I shifted to bass. If you ask that way, for me, like the most important thing was the guitar in those days, and the Beatles. So like I kind of researched on what the Beatles, what they were doing and the thing, and yeah, that's the way I like kind of evolved as. I wouldn't say a musician. I'm still I don't know. Funny, I don't still consider myself a musician until.
Interesting point in the thing. Why do covers? I mean, in a day and age today, where on YouTube you can find everything. See, we come from an era where there was no YouTube, and learning those songs itself was tough, and producing them on stage was like a achievement, a mini achievement kind of a thing, I can say. Uh, but nowadays, when everybody can just learn from the YouTube, whether it is right or wrong, that's different thing. But why do covers? What sets your band apart when it comes to doing covers? What are your who what are your tips towards bands that are looking at doing covers? Do you have to replicate it as good as the original? Is that your approach? Or do you think that you should do change it some way, make it your own kind of a thing? Is that something that you do? And in that, do you think you're disrespecting the original artist by doing something very different? What's your view on this?
Ironically, I've been part of an Iron Maiden cover band, Beatles cover band. I still am. Pink Floyd cover band, yes, and yeah, three of them. And the thing about us, if you're a tribute band, I think you should just stick to exactly what they did, right? And because they're there for to get the experience. Okay, I can't see the Eagles or the Beatles. I'm here to relive that, no, that thing. And if you come and play or it on your in your own style, you're like come on. Unless you kind of say that okay, this is our take on the Beatles or the Eagles or whatever, right? And if you're creative enough, fantastic. Like Toto did a version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I think it's a million. Like it might get me into better than the original, right? That guy is
Yeah,
solo.
but
So what you're saying is right. If you're a tribute band, try to play as much as stick to the original, because I also feel that even when we are doing covers, we try to stick as much close to the originals as possible, because we also feel it's a tribute to the people who made that music and who made those parts. If you're not playing those parts properly, even the solos, uh, are you trying to say that you're a better soloist, or are you trying to say that you have created a better solo than the original, or are you trying to very clearly say that you cannot play like that, so you're playing some shit? So either of these three, all the three reasons don't make up to the fact that you should stick to the original. And I think there are a lot of songs by a lot of bands have these uh, what you call as parts in the song where you can jam, where you can open up and you can do your own stuff and probably change the music. And I think the bands allow that, right? Now that is when I think you should actually look at doing some variations and stuff like that. And yeah, like I completely agree on the point that stick to the basics as much as possible, stay to the original, and absolutely agree. Would you like to play some of your most favorite parts that you've learned, like either on the guitar or on the bass? I lost you.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I lost
I
you, but
lost
I
you,
just
but I
asked you
just
the
asked
last
you the
question.
last question.
If you can
If
play
you can
some
play some
memorable
memorable
licks and
licks and
parts that
parts
you
that
think
you think
are
are
something that
something that
really inspired you to be
inspired you to
playing the
be
guitar.
playing the.
From the Beatles, yes. There are a lot of things that I really want to play, but for me, like Beatles, like got me into the guitar thing and music because my uncle had, like I was said, right, he used to play the entire catalog of Beatles in the 60s. So I literally grew up listening to the Beatles. I was born listening to the Beatles, so I can, yeah, pick up the acoustic and play. One thing. Is it echoing for you? No.
I
If
unmute
I
it
unmute it
echoes.
echoes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Did you pick
Did
this
you
up
pick
on
this
your
up?
own? Did you learn this, or did
Did
someone teach
someone
you,
teach you
or you
or?
pick it up on your own?
I did it myself.
Wow, just amazing. Thanks a lot, Sikanth. I think we had a good time understanding this. It's great fun. I think we should have a complete 1 hour session just on Beatles now. And something that I would really like to, uh, to have a discussion with you about their
Yeah.
music, what you understood about their music, breaking down their songs. And of course, I think one part of it will just be a tribute to George Martin for making all those wonderful arrangements and those complex chords.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks, Sikanth, and I'll see you later then. And thank you so much for making your time for this.